Tracy here with Paper Closet Designs, and today I want to show you a little video on how to assemble the Easter egg box. So here is one box and it has the 3D rose on it. And here is another box. It has the 3D bow on it. These both have some embellishments. So this has the scalloped embellishment and the rose has the little swirl embellishments. Today I'm just going to show you how to assemble the box. So if you want the rose or you want the bow, you can get those files separately. So here are our pieces. This is the bottom, so it has the two wider pieces and it has 2 eggs, and if you will line them up, you will notice that they are not the same size. So no matter how you do it, they're not the same size, and they're not supposed to be. I'll show you why in just a minute. And then the same with the lid. So the lid, you have the 2 smaller pieces, and then again you have 2 eggs that are not the same size. So let's go ahead and start with the lid. And all you're going to do is you're going to fold these tabs backwards, or back, excuse me. There is not a fold line on this tab. The reason why is because eggs are round and they don't have a sharp corner. And so you don't want to fold that tab. It's not something missing from the file. It was intentionally done that way. Okay, and I'm not using a bone folder to get these super tight, so they may not be perfect. Okay, then once it's done, I just kind of use my thumb and finger to give it a little bit of round shape. You don't want to overdo it. Okay, we're going to put a little bit of glue right here on this tab and then match it up. And just hold it to get a good firm adhesion right there. Got a little too much glue. And then we're going to do the same thing on this one. We're going to put a little bit of glue. And then match that up. Okay. So now you have a circle. We're going to flip it over. Make sure most of those little tabs are pointed down. I'm going to flip it over, and just for me, you don't have to do it, but I like to take my seams and have one at the top and one at the bottom. Okay, now you're going to take your 2 eggs, and I want you to put them one on top of the other and grab the smallest one. Okay, we're going to flip it over and we're going to put a little bit of glue on the top and the bottom. Does not have to be perfect. Okay, and now we're going to take the top of that egg and kind of put it in there with the seam, and we're going to push it down and get the bottom of the egg on the seam. And I'm just going to kind of press it with my fingers a little bit to get a good hold. And you're going to flip it over, and you'll notice that you've only got a few tabs that glue down, and that is perfectly okay. We're just going to take some glue, and it does take a minute. I usually do about 4 tabs at a time. Oh, that one didn't get any. Push them down, and if you need to, flip it over and get a good firm. Okay, let's do 4 more of those. Over. And it might look like you're not getting a really tight fit on there, and that's okay. One of the problems with designing files is I don't know what type of paper you're going to use, and so I do it to fit, you know, the paper that I use, which is usually about 80-pound cardstock. But then depending if you buy printed paper or where you've purchased your paper, it may be a little bit thicker, it may be a little bit thinner, and believe it or not, that little tiny bit can make a difference. I've noticed it here at home, just between some of the different papers that I use. So don't worry if it's not an exact tight fit with these files or anything. It's just, it's part of the business of doing it. Okay, I've got these last couple right here. Okay, so there's the lid. Now I'm going to take my bigger circle of the two and I'm going to line it up as best I can right on there. Now again, it may not be just exactly 100% perfect, but it's okay. It's gonna work and it's gonna look beautiful. Add some glue to this. Whoops. Okay, let's give it a nice little bit firm press there. There is our lid. So cute. I love this paper. I'm just about out of it, and it's an old one that they don't carry anymore. Okay, now we're going to do the bottom, and it is the same exact way. So we're going to start with our two pieces. I'm going to bend those side walls, or those tabs on the side walls down or away from you. And just kind of curl it a little bit. And you'll be able to see what I'm talking about with the different weights of paper, because the paper that I used for the bottom of my box is a little bit heavier than the paper I used for the lid of my box. It's okay. So now I'm going to just do the same thing. I'm going to put some glue on the tab, match those tabs up, give it a good firm press. The same over here. Good firm press. And for those of you that have bought my heart-shaped boxes that I did at Valentine's, or what other ones have I done? Circle boxes. If they have an inside and an outside piece on the lid or the bottom, this is how you do it. Is it'll have one piece that's a little bit smaller, and that goes on the inside, and then the piece that's just a hair larger goes on the outside. What happens if you get them mixed up? Nothing much. It's so small. The difference is so small. It's not going to make a huge difference. It really isn't. Okay, so now I'm going to take my 2 eggs, and find the smaller one, put a little bit of glue right there on the top. A little bit of glue down there on the bottom. Whoops, I'm running out of glue. Don't do that. And then just line that up, the top with the seam, the bottom with the seam. Kind of press it. Press it. Flip it over and do the same thing, and do 4 or so tabs at a time. This one didn't stick, so I'm gonna do it first. Push this down, flip it over, press. And I don't work in a circle per se. I kind of work across from each other. So I do 4 on the right side, and then do 4 on the left side, and then go back and do 4 more on the left side. And that just kind of helps keep that shape a little bit better. In fact, I'm going to start down here on the bottom. Do 4 down here. these boxes are so fun to fill with candy or treats, gift cards, money. If you're going to do something a little bit bigger, they're not huge, but you know, something a little bit bigger, some child's socks would fit in there really nicely. Just lots of different ideas. So they work great for your Easter egg hunts. You put candy in them, homemade treats. I mean, you're limited only by your imagination. Okay, so we're gonna push that in there. And then one more side over here. These last two. Okay, so then once that's done, again, we're gonna take this larger piece, the larger egg, put some glue on it, line it up there, flip it over, and then I'm just going to take my lid. Lid just fits on there nice and neat. Now, wouldn't that be fun, tied up with a big bow on it, or just anything? You could leave the lid plain and then like cut out some polka dots with your machine, or even a stamp and polka dot it, or whatever. Or like I said, we do have two other options. We have the one with the 3D bow, and I have the one with the 3D rose. So whatever you want to do, please go ahead and hit subscribe down below, and thanks for joining me today.